What's up gamers, Cryptigo here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're taking a look at one of the more memorable Wii courses, Moo Moo Meadows at 200cc. On April 29, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 1.822 seconds by American player Jimmy. Just over 4 months ago, on June 7, 2020, the world record was set at 58.930 seconds by the French player Army. That's only a 2.9 second improvement between records, but it's a 4.7% faster time. Our former world record holder Jimmy has broken 288 world records across 38 unique runs and has literally spent every day since the game's release holding at least one world record. That's nearly 1,300 days. This is thanks to 2 of his records still standing to this day. Our current world record holder Army has broken 114 world records across 27 unique runs and has spent 615 days holding at least one world record. He's also got a decent 10 current world records to his name as of today. At pre-release, the world record was set at 106 before quickly making its way under 102. From here, the records were being broken like it was nothing as a smattering of players were dropping tenths of a second within hours. The first sub 101 came from the Dutch player Leroy, and that same trend of times that were mere tenths faster took over until we got the first sub-minute time thanks to the French player Mick. At this point, American player Horse would take the time down to a 59 mid before Canadian player Cole swooped in and grabbed the first battle-tested world record of the course. It would take nearly 70 days before the British player Unreal put up a faster time. From there, his rival Jobo took over and brought the time down under 59 seconds, likely the last second break this run will ever see. And his times earned him a world record reign on this course that lasted over 750 days before Army came in and dethroned him over 2 years later. In total, the world record was broken 66 times by 16 different players. We've got a rather unusual set of loadouts for today's episode. Jimmy goes with the combo of Dry Bowser driving the Streetle Cart with the slim wheels and the parachute glider. Army goes with Wario driving the Sneaker Cart with the Crimson Slims and the Hylian Kite Glider. Dry Bowser and Wario might as well just be skins of the exact same character. They share identical stats in all categories, so nobody really has an advantage here. The Streetle Cart would be doing a service to Jimmy if this was 150cc. While it does increase his acceleration and mini-turbo stats by half a point, his top speed declines, which is a problem considering this run is all about keeping your speed up. Army, the man who is literally driving an ambidextrous shoe, made the right choice as his top speed remains nearly unchanged, which puts him ahead of Jimmy. Similar to the rollers and Azure rollers, the Slim and Crimson Slim wheels have the exact same effects on the overall loadout. While acceleration and mini-turbo stats decrease by half of a point, the top speed and handling stats receive a nice little boost. I actually didn't know this, but the Hylian Kite Glider doesn't do anything to the overall loadout's performance. While the Parachute Glider does give small bumps to acceleration and mini-turbo, Jimmy's loadout isn't where it needs to be to compete with Army, who has near max speed and semi-decent handling. Now this course wasn't easy to split up into 3 sections, so I had to make do with only having 2. It's pretty much just a winding road the whole way around anyway, so I just chopped it up at around the halfway point. Jimmy starts off with a rocket start out of the gate into a pretty strict line heading left into the first turn, where he'll start drifting and collect 3 coins before using a mushroom to cut through this huge patch of grass right here before hitting another drift resulting in a super mini turbo to close out this section. Army instead uses his first mushroom right at the start to get up to speed before hitting that same first turn and getting 3 coins, but he skips the grass cut in favor of a straight line through the winding road before the end of S1. Even though he didn't cut that grass patch out, Army somehow leads Jimmy by over 3/4 of a second going into S2. Through S2, both racers drift around the ramp and charge up a mini-turbo they'll use to come through the gopher portion of the course, right before hitting a quick mini-turbo to close out the first lap. No major differences between the runs here so far, other than Army's advantage in top speed, which is the reason he leads by over 0.8 of a second going into lap 2. Jimmy drifts a little tighter around the first turn and goes wide for a brief moment to grab those last 2 coins before using his second mushroom to cut through the grass patch before hitting a quick mini-turbo to close out S1. Army starts his drift right at the finish line but still finds a way to pick up those final 2 coins. From there, he'll perform a mini grass cut by hopping into a drift before using his second mushroom to cut out the last grass patch of S1. This is the cut that nearly doubles Army's lead over Jimmy, which now sits at just under 1.7 seconds. Jimmy does the same thing again by going around the ramp and staying on a pretty strict line to close out lap 2. Nothing's changed here. Army starts off the same, but after the super mini turbo around the ramp, he hits 2 quick jump boosts off the gopher path and the zipper ramp, which put him right back on his line with a sizable increase to his lead. He's up on Jimmy by just over 1.8 seconds going into the final lap. The only noticeable difference in Jimmy's final S1 is that he drifts as tightly as possible since there are no coins to collect. Other than that, it's just the same old song and dance for Jimmy. Let's take a closer look at Army's cut here because it is pretty interesting. After this mini turbo here, he hops at just the right moment and at the right angle to hit the ground and still have enough speed to carry a drift thanks to 200cc. It's definitely intimidating given the needle you have to thread to get around those cows, but it's light work for Army. At the end of S1, he leads Jimmy by just over 2.6 seconds thanks to that huge cut near the end. The final section on the last lap is more or less the same for each racer, with the only significant difference being this lone jump boost from Army. Either way, they both stay on a solid line through the gopher portion and hit that last turn perfectly to close out the race. Army ended up posting a time that was just under 3 seconds faster Jimmy's former world record. So by using his mushrooms in a better spot and grabbing additional boosts throughout the course, Army was able to put up a time that ended Jobo's 750-day world record reign on this course in the most dramatic fashion. Let's hear some words from the champ. What was going through your mind when you broke this world record?
I don't remember, but I wasn't even happy because Alpha wanted to get the world record as well.
Was the sneaker cart all it took to drop that extra frame, or was your world record just a result of better driving?
The sneaker is not faster, but it's way cooler. Also, my driving was worse than Jobo's. I was carried by the new lap 2 strat.
Since the best known splits add up to a .81, is a .7 out of the question, or is .81 as optimized as this run is going to get?
A .7 is probably doable, but it won't happen with current strats.
Thanks for helping me out again, Army. It's always a pleasure to hear from you about your runs. Continuing the trend from the previous episode, Army owns all 3 of the best known splits, and 2 of them came from the same run. While that time wouldn't even crack the top 10, his final time that included the best known lap 3 split would actually be good enough for a spot in the top 5. The best laps 2 and 3 are nearly perfect, while lap 1 has the most room for improvement. I'd like to think that a .7 is possible with absolute precision, but we likely won't see that from anybody but Army. Only time will tell. The worldwide top 10 includes a diverse 8 national records and 3 continental records. Army sits at the top with 1 of 2 times under 59 seconds, British record holder Jobo has the other sub 59 time just 2/10ths back from Army, and Asian record holder Choco sits in 3rd. In 4th and 5th place, we have the German record holder Alpha and Japanese player Tane separated by less than half of a tenth. Dutch record holder Themo and British player Unreal go 6 and 7 with less than a 100th of a second between them, and American record holder Horse, Norwegian player Pi, and Spanish record holder Alberto round out the top 10 with less than a 10th separating them. Army has held this spot for quite some time now, but no lead is ever safe on these leaderboards. Anyone could come through and knock Army to the 2nd spot without warning. I guess we'll just have to wait. That's the end of episode 23. Sorry this one was a little shorter than usual, but hopefully that means you made it all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it with your friends and comment on which course you want me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.